Good morning, everyone. I'm so thrown by this. Lisa, Lydia here. Can we get, let's back up and get closer. I am having
where do you want
technical difficulties today, so we're doing it vertically and not horizontally, and it's probably an super easy fix, but it's Monday.
Yep. And it's been a long morning.
And it's been a long morning. All right, we have lots to talk about, especially in the weather. We have breaking news, but I want to remind you before we jump into all of that, of course, we're live here every weekday morning, vertically or horizontally. We're here. It stays on your Facebook feed throughout the day, so you can watch it anytime you would like. Of course, we'll make it into a podcast when we're done, so you can go to inform.com/podcast, look for the Inform Minute or anywhere you find your podcast. We'd love it if you join us on all of our social media pages as well, because we are posting there as well. All right, today we're going to talk about the weather.
Yeah.
And it is all over the place, but I'll admit people this weekend were like, I get it, I know. It's going to be really warm and then really cold.
Yep.
But they're like, I just don't get it.
Well, not having snow on the ground right now is allowing us to get so warm. And I think that's what's making for such a sharp cutoff. We've got this big cold front coming, bringing in the colder air, but not having any snow on the ground is going to allow us to soar into the 50s to near 60 today. If we did have deep snow on the ground, we'd be looking at probably 40s today, maybe even 30s. And so then it wouldn't be as dramatic of a drop off. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So having no snow on the ground, like zero.
But we don't think about it. We're just used to it.
Yes, exactly.
This winter.
That will allow our temperature to soar today. 59 is the record. We're forecasting 60, so it could be a record-breaking day. It's been a little breezy this morning. There's been a little light snow and a few pockets of drizzle up north. That is wrapping up. The wind will settle down, giving us a beautiful afternoon. Mostly sunny. Wind out of the southwest 5 to 15. Few clouds do hold on further up to the north, but most of us will get to soak up the sunshine and just have a beautiful day. Step outside and enjoy it, because the changes are coming quickly. Cold front will move in late tonight. I'd say after 10 p.m. for most of us, just to kind of give you a timestamp. It'll bring in strong winds out of the north, like 20 to 30, gusting 40 to 45, a little bit of snow. A lot of us in that 2 to 4 inch mark. There will be bands where heavier snow will set up though. And then with that blowing snow, reduced visibility, and a sharp drop in temperatures. We'll go from near 60 this afternoon to the teens tomorrow morning, fall into the single digits throughout the day tomorrow, and below zero by Wednesday morning.
Wow.
Snow wraps up, I'd say, by about midday for most of us, first in North Dakota, then in Minnesota. The blowing snow, though, will continue into Tuesday afternoon, so even some travel impacts after the snow stops falling from the sky. Nasty travel conditions late tonight into tomorrow. I would not suggest going anywhere, especially out of town. In town will, of course, be a little bit better, but you get out of town and it quickly becomes impossible to see. Near whiteout conditions expected late tonight into tomorrow. So for all of this, a winter storm watch is in effect, goes into effect at 1 a.m. tonight, lasts until 6 p.m. tomorrow. That's just a watch at this point. It will be upgraded to either a winter storm warning or a blizzard warning, depending on what the Weather Service wants to do with it. My hunch would be a blizzard warning. I would not be surprised by that, but a winter storm warning is also a possibility with snow, wind. Visibility is really going to become an issue. So things to be aware of. We haven't had to deal with some of this in a long, long time.
I don't remember what it's like to drive in snow.
I know. So we have to think about that over the next about 48 hours. Wednesday morning will be cold, will be sub-zero. Wind will be calmer, snow will be gone. And then we do rebound our temps into the 40s and 50s late weekend into the weekend. So
light at the end of the tunnel.
It's so hard.
But you're right. You call it weather whiplash, and it's for what's the temperature difference between today's high and tomorrow?
Okay, so tomorrow doesn't really have a high temperature because we'll be just kind of going backwards all day. Yeah. But we'll go from near 60 this afternoon to -1 on Wednesday morning is our current temperature drop, which would be a 61-degree drop in probably 36 hours. We're watching for record, the fastest, or the most, I guess, most degrees dropped in 24 hours in Fargo is like 59. So we'll see if we can do 59 degrees in 24 hours.
It's a different kind of record. I didn't even know that was a record.
I know. I didn't even get to that this morning. There were so many things to talk about. I know Jesse's got the stats. She's going to make a graphic later today for it, but interesting. Yeah. Wow. It's going to be fun to watch from a weather perspective, but I can understand from a livelihood perspective how that would not be so fun.
Okay, so you broke it down, but just kind of one more reminder. The weather app, the Storm Tracker weather app, will be really great now.
Yes, Storm Tracker weather app is going to be great. Dylan's been already updating videos on there all morning long, so he's got the latest for you on there. That will also send you an alert when a warning does get issued, because again, right now we're just under a watch. So app is an easy way to keep up with us. We do have a live Storm Tracker blog going on inform.com that I'm working on updating right now. That will constantly be bringing you the latest too. So those are just kind of easy ways to take us with you wherever you go. And then you can stream our newscast too with WDAY Plus. That app is a great way to just kind of check in on our newscasts no matter where you are. If you're not at home, if you're out and about, if you're out of the viewing area, that's an easy way to just check in too.
And so time-wise, I mean, tonight, John will be tracking kind of an update, but then tomorrow morning, really crucial, before you leave the house, if you have to leave the house.
Yes, we will have all of the updates for you, let you know if any roads are closed, because that wouldn't surprise me. I'll be in studio on First News. Dylan will be live outside to give you an update on what's happening outside with wind and snow and just kind of what it's looking like with road conditions, so on and so forth. So
team coverage.
We've got you covered for the next, well, always, but for the next 48 hours with this thing for sure. Yep.
Big weather event.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lydia. All right. Well, weather, a big story, obviously, but we also had a breaking story on First News this morning, and it's a really developing breaking story, so you should check out incredible video, pictures, updates right now on inform.com. School canceled in Hawley, Minnesota today due to a large elevator fire in town. People are also being asked to conserve water right now due to concerns over water pressure. Big fire, massive fire. 17 different fire departments were called out to that fire around 11:30 last night. They stayed on scene throughout the night into this morning, a very active scene. We were told during First News this morning the fire was contained during First News, so sometime between 5 and 7 a.m. Firefighters are still working on smaller hot spots even after they told us it was contained. Of course, we checked in with live looks, and you could still see flames, of course, much smaller. Really intense video. If you want to check that out, of course, we're going to have that on our newscast, especially here coming up at 11 this morning. We're going to have an update for you, but you can check out video right now on inform.com, like I said. Good news is no one was hurt. The elevator, however, is a total loss. Right now, we are working to learn what caused it. Stick with the news leader for updates. Today, the Moorhead City Council is revisiting its proposal for regulations and requirements on cannabis sales. It has to set rules for sales because of the new Minnesota state law that lifts criminal penalties for possession, for home cultivation of marijuana, and for drug paraphernalia. State licenses for cannabis-related businesses are also set to begin in 2025 after the Minnesota Office of Cannabis Management issues its requirements. Right now, Moorhead does not have any license limits, but license holders will be monitored. So we're expecting a lot of updates. That city meeting is scheduled for tonight at 5:30. We will have a crew there, and we'll have an update for you on our evening newscast on WDAY. About 100 airmen are set to deploy from the Grand Forks Air Force Base in April. 96 airmen from the 319th Reconnaissance Wing will deploy overseas. They're actually going to 20 different air bases in the Middle East, Europe, and Africa. They'll be there for 4 to 6 months. That group is expected to return back in April. If you'd like to read more on that deployment and all of the families affected, that story's on our website, grandforksherald.com, right now. Big week for Jamestown. Right now, the Jamestown Civic Center is preparing to host the North Dakota High School Class B State Girls Basketball Tournament. It's been a while for Jamestown. This is the first time since the 2004-2005 season, so we're talking about 20 years. The Civic Center is looking to add extra concession stands. They're also prepping ticket booths, locker rooms. The tournament runs Thursday through Saturday, big weekend in Jamestown, and of course, WDAY will be there. We're going to be broadcasting those games so you can stay home and watch them on your own TV. They'll be on WDAY and WDAY Extra. Another story we're tracking for you, kind of a follow-up. AT&T is reimbursing customers for the network outage that affected more than 70,000 people. We broke that story for you on First News. Customers dealt with error messages, no service connection. That was last Thursday. We talked a little bit about Scott Ingen not having service. He's an AT&T customer, and it was a pain for him all day long. The mobile network says it wanted to recognize the frustration that outage caused people. They are going to issue a $5 credit to potentially impacted wireless customers, which AT&T says is the average cost of a full day of service. The FCC says it is still investigating that incident. Back to sports. Today on Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, the Drive for 5 worked as the Shack was packed this weekend. Some big wins for NDSU as they played UND. So the question is, what does NDSU have planned for an encore with SDSU coming to town on Saturday? Plus, the new co-op, Maple River, will get a statewide introduction this week after the Raiders qualified for State B. Head coach Nathan Hoots joins the show to discuss a crazy last 10 days. Join Dom on Hot Mic from 9 to 11 on WDAY Extra. And remember, right now is a great time to get that inform.com subscription. All the stories we were talking about, news, weather, sports, 99 cents a month for your first 3 months. It's a great deal. Just go to inform.com/subscribe to check it out. And we have you covered on air. Our next newscast coming up at 11, of course, Dylan's going to have the very latest on the beautiful day we have on tap, and then the winter storm that Lydia was talking about, and the very latest on that massive fire in Holly. And then this afternoon, again, we have you covered 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10, and we'll be back tomorrow morning for more First News. Have a great day, everyone.